Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us for another quarterly webinar. I'm your host today. My name is Jeremy Kronemeyer, Operations Manager for Wickham Financial Group. And we like to have these quarterly webinars to go over everything that has to do with total wealth management, like tax strategies, investment planning, retirement planning, estate planning. And today, Suzanne Wickham Cook, who's going to be our presenter, is going to go over the insurance piece and specifically some tips and tricks on cyber insurance. So, Suzanne, I'll let you take it away.
Thank you, Jeremy. Thank you for joining us today. I am a property and casualty agent here at Wickham Financial and Insurance Services. I work on the commercial lines team as well as the personal lines team. We wanted to speak with you today about cyber liability insurance. This is a growing concern in society today as more and more cyber attacks are occurring, and a lot of people are unaware that cyber insurance is available. So, we thought we would discuss today what cyber liability insurance covers and if this is something that you may want to look into getting for yourself or your business. So to begin an introduction, small businesses can be considered the lowest hanging fruit for cyber attacks before considering a highly defended organization. Could your business survive a cyber attack? There's high out of pocket expense and a business interruption. Um, Small companies are targets. So if you feel like only large organizations are the ones being hit, then you're mistaken. You need to be sure that your business or yourself is protected as well. Who needs cyber liability insurance? Anyone who emails, accesses the internet is at risk, or has software on a server or in the cloud, especially if you have client personal information and you're handling money. You want to be sure that you are keeping this information safeguarded. Cyber liability protects against financial loss and legal liability resulting from a cyber attack to your business. Anyone can be a target for a cyber attack. Thought we'd go over some statistics. Now, these numbers are from 2024. We don't have any 2025 numbers as of yet, but um, as total complaints in 2024 is showing 859,534. 532, excuse me. Now they are estimating these are only the complaints that were reported. So they're reporting this number could be double if everyone had reported every complaint. The losses are showing to be $16.6 billion. And more frequent attacks are happening every day. Criminals are getting smarter. AI is coming out. It's just very hard to tell what is real and what is not on the internet these days. So 33% increase from 2023 to 2024. So we can only guess that to 2025, that number could even be doubled. Complaints that had an actual loss was 256,256. And then the average loss payout was $19,372. This is a considerable amount of money. Would your small business be able to afford this? If you don't have this in your budget, it's unexpected amount that you would have to pay. Something to consider. Data Breach Investigations Report has estimated that 68% of breaches involved a non-malicious human element. What this means is the breaches were caused by human error. A human error can be from opening an email, sending a wire money transfer to the wrong link, opening a link that has a virus on it. Once you open an email, and the attachment has a virus, it only takes them 45 seconds to completely lock down your information. This is very quick. They're getting very good at hacking in and coming in quickly. But when you open up an email, before you even realize what's going on, they've probably already locked down your system. So these are types of commercial insurance policies that people have been around and people are more educated about. So I wanted to discuss these briefly, so then I will explain how cyber liability insurance differs from these other policies. A lot of people have the misconception that their current general liability or their current policy is going to cover for cyber, where in fact some it may not cover them. So general liability will cover your business against claims of bodily injury and property damage or personal advertising injury suffered by a third party. It covers claims caused by your business operations, products, or premises that cause harm to others other than an employee. Pays for legal and settlement costs, medical payments for injuries that occur on your business premises when there is a claim. An example, if you own a restaurant and someone gets injured in your parking lot and they claim that you had a pothole, you're liable that they fell. They may come back with a lawsuit having medical bills. If you are working at someone's home repairing a deck and something is broken that wasn't in relation to the deck and they want to file a claim, they want you to come back and fix this, your general liability would be able to have a claim and stand behind you on that. Property insurance is going to cover your business, your building, losses to your building and equipment and inventory. Some policies pay for loss of income. If you have a building, a claim, your roof is taken off in a storm, you're unable to conduct your business while the claim is being settled, you would be able to recoup some loss of income if that coverage is provided on your policy. Workers' comp is protecting your business from financial liability of having to pay for costs from job-related injuries and illnesses for your employees. If having workers' comp is important because if someone gets hurt on the job while they're working for you, medical bills can be costly, and a lot of times the claims last for a long time. It can be a lengthy process. Commercial auto kind of speaks for itself. These are the commercially owned vehicles that you are using in your business. And this would be different than a personal auto policy. So using your vehicles in your business, having them covered correctly. Professional liability protects against alleged or actual negligence during your professional service. Covers legal and settlement cost services related mistakes. If you are advising someone, if your job is to offer advice or guide people in their business and they come back to you with a liable claim, your professional liability is what would protect you in the case of this. You can add endorsements to these policies, but adding an endorsement to a policy is going to give you a limited amount of coverage, whereas if you were to get a separate cyber liability insurance policy, you would have more comprehensive coverage. Another downside to adding cyber coverage to an existing policy is that you would be subject to a claims adjuster that may only be familiar with a general liability or a property claim. And it's very important in the event of a cyber event that you want to be sure you have a claims specialist that is trained on cyber and they know what they're doing. There's so many moving parts to a cyber liability claim, ransom payments that need to be negotiated, finding out where the source of the cyber attack came from. There's just a lot of moving parts that sometimes if you just have a regular policy it's added to, it may not service everything you need. Moving on to personal lines policies. These types of policies, we're just going to go over homeowners and auto. Of course, there are a lot of other policies available, but homeowners provides protection to homeowners against losses from damages to their property and their belongings, as well as liability for injuries or property damage to others. Cyber liability with some companies can be added to the policy, just like with general liability. Cyber liability is, for the most part, a newer type of coverage. So not all insurance companies are providing this endorsement that can be added. You need to check with your agent or your insurance company to be sure that this is something that's available. Homeowners insurance helps to avoid significant out-of-pocket expenses, and there are different types of homeowners policies. For example, a condo policy, a renter's policy, these are other types of homeowners insurance. Um, Automobile insurance provides financial protection to individuals for their vehicles and covers damage to others for bodily injury or property damage that you may be liable for. Protects individuals from financial loss associated with owning and operating a vehicle for personal use. If you're in an accident, if you're in an accident and you were liable for the accident, your automobile insurance is going to help to pay for those medical bills or the property damage to the vehicle that you hit. Depending on the coverages that you've chosen on your policy, it may have coverage available for your own vehicle to be repaired as well. Back to the homeowner's policy, I did a quote to add cyber liability insurance to my homeowner's policy, and I was able to add it on with the company that I'm with, and it was $25,000 in coverage with a $500 deductible. They did state that I would be able to have a specialized claims adjuster if needed, and they would restore my data and investigate the cyber attack, which it seems like it is some good coverage. But then again, it only provided $25,000 in coverage, but it was $30 a year. So I feel like for the cost of $30 a year, that is pretty inexpensive for what I would be getting. So that's something you might want to take into account, check in with your current policies. All right, moving on. This is going to be more for commercial policies. And this is criteria that may be needed if you are wanting to get a commercial lines cyber liability policy. To obtain cyber liability insurance, businesses must demonstrate a commitment to cyber security through strong security controls and the employee training and a well-defined incident response plan. The insurance companies want to be sure that you're going to be committed, if you're getting this in policy, that you're going to be committed to practicing the safe steps. And these being multi-step authentication, strong passwords, and a strong password meaning 12 characters or more. Of course, we all know we've been instructed to do capital letters, lowercase letters, numbers, special characters, phrases. As complicated as you can make it, the safer your password's going to be. Up-to-date software, firewalls, encrypted data, and of course, regularly scheduled computer backups. Those backups are going to be very important if you were to have a cyber attack. You want to be sure those backups are up to date. So if you do have to bring your information back up, you have a backup ready. Moving on to what cyber liability coverage covers. First-party coverage and third-party coverage. First-party coverage is going to pay for financial loss that your business suffers due to a cyber incident. The third-party coverage is protecting your business against any lawsuits that may be filed against you from the third-party damage that's caused because of your cyber attack. Some examples of coverages included on a cyber liability policy, and these are not all of the coverages available. These are just a few, but data restoration costs. This is going to be expenses incurred to restore lost or damaged data after a cyber attack. Rebuilding your database, recovering lost data, just getting your business back on its feet. Another coverage that could be covered if you have this on the policy is legal fees. The cost of legal representation and defense. Third-party coverage, you may be subject to a lawsuit. Business interruption cost. If your business sustains loss of productivity due to the shutdown of your operations because of an attack, loss of income can also be recovered in this event. Forensic investigation cost. This one's important because they will be analyzing the extent of the damage that you've suffered, finding the source of the attack, and preventing future incidents. I think that's very important to prevent future incidents. They seem to try to reoccur once they've attacked you. Ransom payments, cost of negotiating payment of a ransom to regain access to the data. Ransom payments, they're saying you need to pay this fine before they will restore your system. And a lot of times, these cyber hackers are not always honest. They may take that ransom payment and then they're still not going to give you your computer system back. So it's nice to have cyber liability insurance specialists there to help you negotiate on behalf for you. All right. Looking at some examples of cyber liability claims. Phishing emails. These are very popular. Email was sent to a restaurant to pretend to place an order. The link was clicked on. More than 400,000 credit card numbers were compromised. Their cyber liability policy covered their data breach expenses. And I'm sure there was third party involved because people's credit card numbers were compromised. So I'm sure they're going to come back to this restaurant as well. Having a rogue employee at the bank was using newly issued consumer credit card numbers and stealing money. He was caught and the claim was covered under their cyber liability policy. You're also at risk on your personal home computers, your personal emails. Cyber liability coverage, when you is going to help you if you can add it to your personal policy, or if you get a separate commercial line cyber liability insurance. People feel like they're safe at home on their home networks. However, your home networks are at risk. For example, if someone comes over to your home, they want to log into your home network system with their laptop or their tablet, whatever it may be. If they have a virus on their device, when they log into your Wi-Fi network, your home secured system, you just opened up a door for them to bring in any viruses that they have on theirs into your system. Families today are more connected than ever. Having a smart home, meaning your thermostats are connected to the internet, you have programmable lights, you have programmable doors and door locks, your TVs. These are all very nice luxuries to have, but they are opening you up to a cyber attack. So you want to be sure that you have everything safeguarded and when you're letting people in. We've all heard that public Wi-Fi networks are unsafe. When you are logging in on a public Wi-Fi at a coffee shop, at the airport, hotel, keep in mind there are all kinds of other people that are also logged into that. And some may be looking around for someone to attack or to see if they can get in. So you just want to be mindful that you are not getting your personal data exposed, not logging into your bank account so they can see your personal information. Just be aware of what you are using if you have to use a public Wi-Fi connection. All right, the most common types of cyber liability insurance claims that have been being reported: ransomware, blocking access on your computer system because they want a payment. They have been seeing these a lot. Sometimes I've heard that the businesses, if they don't have cyber insurance, they are being recommended by the FBI to just pay the ransom so that their system will be unlocked by the cyber attackers. But they've also heard that once the ransom is paid, they still don't open up. They don't give them back their system. So you're at their mercy. Business emails, opening an email that contains a virus. I think we've all been in this situation where you're not sure if you should open it or not, but opening an email that has a fraudulent attachment or fraudulent link. Funds transfer fraud, money transfer, wiring money to an unknown email address or link. Even if you think you know that link, if you have a balance with a business and you get an email saying here's a link for you to pay your balance, and you know you do have a balance, but they have hacked into that business's system and found out your balance and sent you a fraudulent link. Once you click on that link and wire that money over, they have your money, and it is very difficult to get that back. So in summary, Cyber liability insurance policies can be tailored to meet your individual business needs. This meaning an accountant firm may need different types of coverages than an accountant or a restaurant. Depending on what your business is going to determine what type of coverages that you're wanting and the limits that you purchase. So be sure to discuss with your agent your business operations, what you're concerned about, and what you're looking for. And your policy can be tailored with the best comprehensive coverages for you. If you're looking to have a company to service your IT solutions, getting an IT solutions provider, we use one in our business and it is a lifesaver for us. We would be happy to give you a recommendation. Just reach out to us and we can get you their contact information. Thank you for watching today. I think we're going to move on to some questions and answers at this point, Jeremy.
Yes, Suzanne. So the first question we got was, does cyber insurance really necessary if I already have some safeguards, some firewalls and antivirus in place for my business?
Yes, because if someone were to have a cyber attack and get through that security you have, you're still going to be at a large expense trying to get your software back, find out where that cyber attack took place, or if they're asking for a ransom, you would still need someone to help you through that. So that's not fully protecting you in the event that a cyber attack happens.
Gotcha. Well, how can I reduce my premium on cyber insurance?
Cyber insurance premium, I can tell you, well, it depends on the limits that you get. You can always choose a larger deductible to help bring down the cost, but the price of a cyber liability insurance policy is going to be less than what you're going to be paying out of your pocket if you have a cyber liability claim.
Gotcha. And the last question I had was, how much does cyber insurance cost traditionally?
Yeah, that's a good question because there's no set price for that. It really depends on the what your business is, what limits you choose, what deductible, which coverages you choose, what you don't choose. All of those are premium bearing and it would affect your pricing. So everyone's policy would be priced differently.
Gotcha. Well, Suzanne, we always appreciate the information and expertise, and thank you to our the listeners today jumping on the webinar. And stay tuned for some other webinars the rest of the year. Just check out our website or see some emails coming through, and we look forward to seeing you next time.
Thank you so much.